this column and it just says weights. Now you're going to create two types of histograms. All right, but there's some other information that we can get from all this stuff using Google Sheets that we can use to do this, and then also use it as we learn about more ways to describe data. All right, so you're going to go up to the top here, see where it says sample size. Now, what you want the spreadsheet to do is you want it to count, well, how many bags of M&Ms do we got here? All right, so to do that, there's a command that says count. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to type in equals in that yellow box. Equals. Then I'm going to type in the word count. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to highlight and drag those values, and it fills it up and it goes from A2 to A31. And then I close it and hit enter. Now what it just did, it counted up all those numbers. So there's 30 numbers in there. Now I'm going to show you a little keyboard shortcut that you can use to select an entire column so that you don't have to click and drag all the time. Because the longer these columns get, that can really be a pain. All right, so here's another way to do it. So I'm going to clear it out. All right, and we're going to type in the same formula. We're going to go equals, count. Now come over here, guys, and click on number 2. And instead of dragging, if you just go Control Shift and then use the down arrow key on your computer, it'll select all the values that are in that column. Control Shift down arrow. And it's just an easy way to pick a list of numbers or a range of data without having to scroll. And then I just close my parentheses and hit enter. Okay, so that's a shortcut, a keyboard shortcut. Control, Shift, down arrow, and it'll select all the numbers in this column. All right, now what we want to do is we want to find what's the minimum value in this list. So we want the spreadsheet, look at all these numbers and tell me the smallest one. Okay, so click on the next cell, D2, type in equals, and now the command is min, M-I-N, and you see it pops up. Minimum. Okay, now go over here, click on A2, and use your shortcut. Control, Shift, down arrow. And now it gives you the smallest value in that list, 1.64. Okay, so stop me, guys, if you're not getting these values or you need me to go back over something. Or just interrupt. Turn your mic on and ask me. All right, now we want to find the biggest number in this list. So I go equals, and I'm going to type in max. M-A-X, parenthesis. And I want to find the max value of the weights. So click A2 and then go Control, Shift, down arrow. So that's the biggest value in that list, 1.84. That's the highest weight. Now, to get the range, well, the range is the maximum minus the minimum. So I'm going to type in this column equals, or this cell, and I'm going to go D3 minus D2. Now, all I got to do is click on D3. Click, minus, click, D2, enter. And that's my range. That's the distance between the highest and the lowest value. All right, once you've done that, then to get how wide you make each class. Now, I told you how many classes to make. I said you're going to have 5 classes. So all you do is you take the range and you divide it by 5, because there's 5 classes. If it said 6 classes, then you divide it by 6. If it didn't tell you how many classes, okay, the way that you do it, if you don't know how many classes and you're trying to decide how many classes, the agreed upon way of picking the number of classes is that you take the sample size and you take the square root of it. Okay, so if I did the square root of 30, okay, square root of 30 is going to be around 5, a little over 5. So square root 30. Okay, that's 5.4. So I could round that to 5 or 6. And that's how many chart or bars I'm going to have. If you're not told how many bars. Okay, but in this case, I'm telling you how many bars, 5. So now we're going to go equals. Okay, and I want to take the range, which is in D4, and I want to divide it by 5. And that's the width of all my bars, my classes. All right, so that's information that's new. Okay, now to make your frequency chart. Your frequency chart here is going to start with the smallest value, your minimum. So over here, I'm going to put in 1.64. And then I'm going to add 0.04 to it. So that would put me at 1.70. No, it wouldn't. It would put me at 1.68. I just took 1.64 and I added 0.04. And then this class is going to go from 1.68 to 1.72. Any questions on how I'm getting these numbers? No? Okay. So this would be 1.76. 1.76 to 1.8. 1.8 to 1.8. All right, any questions, guys, up to this point? How I got any of those values? Okay, the upper class limit is the upper limit of this interval. So for here, it would be 1.68. Okay, questions there? All right, now we're going to do our frequency. So right here, I typed out what the formula looks like. So I got equals frequency, parenthesis. Okay, A2, I click there and then I use my shortcut, Control, Shift, down arrow. So I don't have to keep scrolling. Comma. And then I use my upper class limits, parenthesis, and there's my frequencies.
Can you do that again, please?
Sure. Okay. So I'll get rid of this, delete. All right, so right over here in red, that's what it will look like, except it won't have the quotes. So I click on this, I put in the equal symbol, then I start typing the word frequency, and the command shows up. Okay, now the first part of the frequency is the range of data that you are using. So that's from A2, and instead of scrolling, I use Control, Shift, down arrow. And it picks all the numbers in this list, in this range here. So the Control, Shift, down arrow is nice. Like if I had 1,000 numbers here, I don't want to be scrolling through 1,000 numbers. Okay, then I go comma, and these upper class limits right here, those are the classes. So that was my next one, D14 to D18, and then I close the parentheses and hit enter. So there's 4 bags of M&Ms that were between 164 up to and including 168. There were 5 bags of M&Ms that weighed bigger than 1.68, but up to or equal to 1.72. All right, now one thing that's helpful to do to make sure that you've counted all your numbers is the sum of your frequencies should be the same as your sample size. So we got a sample size of 30. So when I add these up, I should get 30. All right, now a quick way of doing that is using the sum function. So I go equals, and then I type in sum, parenthesis, and then I want it to add up these numbers for me. So that means I didn't miss anything. All right, now you're ready to draw your graph. All right, so when we make so we did the table's filled out. Okay, now the next thing says here, use the frequency table in the column chart option to make a 5-class frequency histogram. Title the graph, distribution of M&M packets, weights. All right, so this is exactly what we did yesterday. So I'm going to highlight M&M weights, because those are going to be the labels of the x-axis. Then I hit Control, and I choose frequency. And all of these instructions are right here. Okay, I say select these 2 rows, and then you're going to go up and you're going to pick column chart. So I've got them chosen, and then I hit column chart. And there's my chart. I'm going to drag that right down here. Put it right in that box. Okay. And now to change the title of this, guys, you can just click on it and you can type in this title. Okay, so I'm just going to take that guy right there, Control C, and drop it in right there. And that's our first part of the graph. So tomorrow we'll pick up, I want to talk to you about these two things here, about the bucket size. So we'll stop there. You don't have to, I mean, you can try to do the assignment, but we're going to finish this up tomorrow. Okay, everybody, have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.